So what is product information management? What is PIM? So what if I told you that Excel spreadsheets might be quietly holding your e-commerce business back? We have research that shows that 34% of product returns are caused by incorrect product descriptions, often due to manual data entry errors. So how many sales could you be losing right now to a single misplaced decimal or outdated product data? In this video, we'll look at why so many businesses struggle with costly errors and inefficiencies on managing product data in their spreadsheets or ERP systems. More importantly, I'll introduce you to a solution that centralizes all that product information. It helps you improve accuracy, helps you move faster so you can focus on your growth instead of fixing all those mistakes. What are the hidden costs of spreadsheet chaos? So when you rely on spreadsheets to manage your product data, the risks often go unnoticed until they start affecting your bottom line. Even a small mistake, like listing a product as 1 kilogram instead of 10 kilogram, can cause a customer to abandon their cart. These errors aren't rare. Manual data entry leads to countless inconsistencies across catalogs, and as your assortment grows, so does the potential for costly mistakes. According to a 2022 study done by the PIM solution InRiver, 34% of product returns are caused by incorrect product descriptions, most of which can be traced back to a manual process. So some retailers have even reported 7-figure losses due to inconsistent pricing and product details across all the different sales channels. So when a customer sees a specific specification that is different on your social media than on your e-commerce site, compared maybe to even a marketplace like Amazon, it undermines their trust. And that inconsistency then sends them to a competitor. All that inconsistent product information doesn't just reduce sales, it erodes your brand's credibility and damages long-term customer relationships. ERP systems, while essential for many business functions, aren't just designed to solve these challenges. They store product data, but they offer limited mapping, and they cannot transform or syndicate attributes for each channel without a lot of manual work to make that happen. That means that teams are left to manually update and convert all that information for each different platform and language, and that slows down the whole product data process. It introduces manual work in every step of the way, and manual work is an opportunity for mistakes. So according to our analysis, data professionals spend up to half their time correcting product data or updating errors. And that's a burden that is maybe heavier in retail, but also consistent across the value chain. So for wholesalers and manuals, every catalog that is large and complex has these sort of process-based errors. Every error then leads to more operational costs. So more time spent on those corrections, higher support expenses, higher return rates, more shipping, restocking fees. All these inefficiencies just don't drain your resources. They pull attention away from what you're actually want to focus on, and that is growth. All those manual processes also create a drag on your ability to move quickly, because while your team is busy reconciling spreadsheets and fixing all those errors across those platforms, your competitors are moving faster and launching products every new day. We now have research that shows that companies that use a PIM, a centralized product information management system, can bring products to market on average 30% faster, and they avoid weeks of manual reconciliations and missed opportunities. Beyond direct losses from returns or support costs, these manual processes cost valuable launch time and market agility. So every delay is an opportunity lost to your competitors, and that is why it's important to look at how a more centralized approach to product data can transform your business. So how can a PIM become your growth engine? A product information management system, or PIM, gives you and your team the single place to manage all that product data, a single source of truth. No matter how scattered all your spreadsheets or disconnected systems were, with a single PIM, every detail, every attribute from technical specifications to images and digital assets is stored centrally and updated in real time, creating a consistent omni-channel experience for your customers. With built-in rule-based validation, you can catch errors before they ever reach your sales channels. So, for example, if a weight field requires a number, the system won't let anyone enter a text by mistake. And those kinds of automations mean that product information not just is irrelevantly and correctly entered in the start, but stays accurate across the life cycle of a product. Now, a PIM system also manages and supports the management of digital assets, a digital asset management tool, a DAM. That means that every product, photo, video, and documents like manuals can be linked to the correct product. And when you then change or update one of those manuals or change a product picture, it is then syndicated across the whole catalog. All the linked products are updated automatically, and all the receiving channels are also updated automatically. Now, when we're looking at some of our customers, for example, we see over 500% more product updates after activating that automatic syndication. Instead of doing it all manually with Excel sheets and forgetting some or not updating some channels, automated syndication reduces the whole update process from weeks to just days or even hours. So that increases the speed to which you can respond to trends. You can do custom winter or even festive texts to update a dress that is just an evening dress to a specific Christmas evening dress, and then revert that change after Christmas has passed. So you can update those products and launch them when demand is fresh instead of missing the window. And manual processes that have whole teams to double check everything and have teams to check listings across websites, marketplaces, print catalogs. With a PIM, all these steps are automated and managed in a single user interface. So product data is mapped, transformed, and pushed out in the right format for each platform. And this eliminates version control issues that slow down launches and create confusion for your customers. That accuracy has a direct impact on returns. So we see that brands using a PIM report about 25% fewer returns on average, and that can have upticks to about 50% for categories that have high returns like home and living or especially fashion. With reliable specs and images, a PIM also helps customers to know exactly what they're getting. And with all those specs and images and descriptions match all your channels, customers can buy confidently and also return less. That means fewer costs, but also a higher conversion rate and higher satisfaction scores for your brand. Those faster product launches also mean that you have more time in the market and more opportunities to drive revenue. So we see that customers using a PIM bring products to market about 30% quicker. That's extra weeks or even months of selling time each year, especially important if you're active in a seasonal or trending space like fashion or to a lesser extent, home and living. Beyond speed, it also frees up hours that you would usually spend on doing all those manual updates. And we have teams that have reported reclaiming up to 20 hours a week per person, allowing them to focus on expanding product lines or updating the quality of information instead of just fixing errors. So with all these gains in speed and accuracy, expanding into new markets or new product categories becomes a very easy and next logical step. So when you can expand to markets without the headache of managing all that product data for new regions, every new region brings a unique set of challenges. Languages, legislation, and doing all that localization isn't just about translating product descriptions with AI nowadays. It also means adapting details for different currencies, regulations, tone of voice, cultural differences, customer expectations, and spreadsheets and basic tools often fall short when you're faced with these demands. And that leads again to missed opportunities and costly errors. And if you then scale that across 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 languages, those costs quickly add up and scale. Now, a centralized PIM system that changes all that. It stores every language and every version of a product in one place. So teams don't have to juggle dozens of files or worry about outdated translations. And you can add automated workflows. So translation requests and even updates of the golden record of a product trickle down to all the localized translated versions of that product data, of that description. And that means that your localization cycles can be reduced by more than 80%. And again, that frees up those local teams to really put in the cultural differences or focus on the quality of the translations. We have seen that customers that use a PIM can launch new markets in months instead of years, simply by having all their data and workflows connected in one single product information platform. Especially when you look at regional compliance, it's another area where PIM makes a huge difference. Each market can have their own requirements or labels for product, for safety information, for documentation. And with a PIM, you can manage all these variations in one single place. That means that you always have the right information and it's always up to date and sent to the right place. So for example, food and beverage companies have used a PIM to manage all ingredients lists and all the different local regulations and declarations for all these different multiple countries. And that reduces the risk of errors, but also improves compliance and reduces recalls. The same is true for currency management. And though many PIMs don't manage prices, you can have that standard price in PIM and actually convert those prices using your product data with the up-to-date exchange rate. And that means you can maintain local pricing strategies with some of these dedicated tools instead of having manual reductions and recalculations each week or even each day. That means you have an accurate pricing that is consistent across all the different regions, no matter how often those rates change or how often your pricing change. Now, we have research that shows that companies that expand into new regions can do that up to 50% faster with a dedicated PIM. And that's because teams can actually quickly adapt all that product information and do that specific for each market without rebuilding the whole listing from scratch in a spreadsheet or another tool like an ERP or e-commerce solution that is not built for the task. So instead of spending weeks fixing translations or updating compliance documents, actually maybe finding those compliance documents, the businesses and the teams can focus on launching and actually selling. Now, localized content improves the customer experience too, right? Shoppers are more likely to trust and buy from brands that offer clear, accurate information in their own language. Some companies have been seeing those conversion rates rise significantly after providing complete and tailored product content for each of these new markets. Every market you launch to that is not your home market is always less priority than that home market. And we always see customers, even with the best intentions, launch in those new markets, but then forget to really, keep those product data up to date. And with a PIM, you can do that much more efficiently and much more scalably. And that means that operationally, all these benefits add up, right? So that means less spent time fixing errors and more time to focus on really getting into the market and doing that growth and achieving that growth. When you start to scale globally, all these improvements just go beyond just making expansion easier. They also have a direct effect on your bottom line. And that is not just in your home market, but also in all these international regions. The real value of quality product data management becomes clear when you look at the bottom line. So what about the return on investment of a product information management system? So when you look at the numbers, the impact of poor product data is, Gartner estimates that organizations lose at least about 13 million a year on average due to quality problems. These losses, they show up in the forms of returns, lost sales, wasted time spent all fixing these errors. And for many companies, these costs are accepted as part of doing business. It's the way you're operating right now and it works, right? But they are preventable. And the return on investment for fixing product data is in this world clearer than ever. Companies that have implemented a PIM system often see an up to 3 to 5 times return for every dollar or euro they invested. And these gains come both from direct cost savings, right? Less returns, less time spent on doing all that manual product entry, but also from increased sales. When product information is accurate, customers are more likely to buy and less likely to return. We mentioned this before, but we see up to 25% less returns. And yeah, that's immediate effect on your bottom line. And it immediately reduces your operational and support costs. So a modern PIM helps you automate and fix all those repetitive product data tasks, especially using AI and rules engines. And with that automation, it frees up teams to focus on growing the business rather than fixing spreadsheets. You can redirect all that hours on expanding and improving the quality of your listings. And we have seen brands that bring products to market up to 30% faster after adopting a PIM. That means they can capture sales or seasonal trends and those effects, they cross all the different channels. with that centralized product data, you remove all the bottlenecks that come with manual processes, and that leads to a more efficient product data process. Rollouts, updates, all that can now be done multiple times a year, even maybe in a daily update process. And what we see, the effects of all those small steps combined and having that consistent product experience means that we've seen double-digit improvements in conversion rates when you start enriching the product data and when you can focus more on that product data quality. You make customers more confident in their purchases. You remove questions that they have in the buying journey. And that means that they're converting much more quickly and much more regularly. When we look at the payback period for PIM, we typically see that the time to value is about 12 to 18 months. And the savings and efficiency gains, they compound when the business grows. We also see that teams have higher satisfaction in their work when you don't have to fix all those repetitive issues. And it helps decision makers and managers trust the accuracy of their product information when you're planning new initiatives, entering new markets, or just want to get a good feeling of your product data quality across the board. Ultimately, investing in product data quality is not just about reducing errors. It's a strategic move that improves sales, efficiency, and team productivity. Many businesses find that once they address their product data challenges, they unlock new opportunities for growth, and that creates a foundation for long-term success. To wrap up, let's focus on the practical next steps for strengthening your product data. So if you're interested in understanding the financial impact of a PIM system for your business, check out our free cost calculator for PIM that we have linked in this video. This tool can help you determine whether a PIM investment aligns with your budget and goals. So when you want to move forward, fill in that cost calculator tool and then start mapping out requirements across different departments from IT, marketing, and sales, so you can align the business case not just with your own department, but across the organization. That ensures that the solution meets not just your needs, but the needs of the entire organization. Now, tell us in the comments which manual product data tasks eats most of your day, and let's discuss solutions.